oh yeah, like what are toe photos going for these days? Like how much money are we talking? He said, well, the only way I'll pay is if you can suck your toe. So now I'm on air trying to see if that's even like feasible. It's not. It wasn't. So I wrote him back and I'm like, listen, I can't suck my toe. And he was like, it's fine. Like annoyed at me. It's like, it's fine. But can you just send me a regular one? I'm like, well, what kind of bread are we talking? So then the phone lines light up and girls are like, Ash, you could get $1,000 for this.
What up, though? Episode 19 of the It's Always Something podcast, produced by Hurley and Big Night Media. By the way, I have a bone to pick with you real quick, Hurley, because this would be season 2, episode 9 of the podcast.
Yes.
And I didn't know. I thought the seasons joke was going to be between us. And every fucking podcast at Big Night is doing season podcasts.
I think they're doing it by season, though.
Right, but are you having the same small talk conversations with other podcasts when I thought that was going to be a genuinely serious thing that I thought was an original idea?
I just think word has gotten out and everybody loves the idea.
Are you saying that I'm the trendsetter, I started it, and then you told other people this is what JD's doing? And he's doing seasons.
I didn't even get an intro, but I'm gonna interrupt. I think Alex Cooper from Call Her Daddy started seasons.
Okay.
I don't know if maybe you follow her. She's a pretty girl. But
let a bitch know. Also, shut the fuck up. Because I was gonna get
then
to
don't
you.
put a mic in front of my face, idiots.
I was going to get to you. Shut the fuck up, human. I'll get to your name in a second. So my name is JD. I'm the host of this worldwide radio program, and I'm just here to beg someone on the West Coast to hire me so I don't have to start watching these NBA games the upcoming season at 10:30 at night. It has to stop. Okay, speaking of hoopers, today we make It's Always Something podcast history with my next guest. It's also one of probably my lowest moments in the podcast because I have to take full responsibility. She is the first woman that is going to be on the show, minus Mike Montiel, because he would admit he's one of the girls. I would say that. So shame on me, but I picked one of the best.
I'm sad it took 19 episodes. Like, are you good?
I'm still getting to your fucking name, okay? Jesus. She has her own radio program herself. I love this woman. I respect this woman. I admire this woman. If you're currently living in a retirement community, you'll remember her from MTV's Real World New Orleans.
That's so sweet.
Where she was a stranger picked to live in the house. Most recently, she was on Say Yes to the Dress on TLC. Due to the fact that she recently got married, congrats, but don't ruin my intro here. Mm-hmm. Host of Ashlee and the New Jammin' Morning Show here in Boston on Jammin' 94.5, the most well-known hip-hop station in these streets. She is indeed the queen, the only one to submit a writer demanding red M&Ms at the table, ladies and gentlemen.
Sweet of you.
Ashlee Feldman
Hi, everybody.
is here.
Everyone.
Now you can enter the podcast.
Well, no one tells me when I can and cannot speak. You knew that. You know that.
Well, when your morning show material, it's the highest pressure, it's the highest royalty, it's the highest talent fees.
My heart's beating fast at the thought that you're running this and not me, but I'm going to let you have your time.
The whole company is. There was a reason why the radio station's not around anymore. It was my fault. I was doing mornings at the time at AMP Radio. It exploded. It is no longer here.
Stop it. We missed you.
But listen, I mean, I wanted to have you on the show today to talk about foreign policy, Afghanistan,
Good.
if we believe that the election was stolen, and vaccine hesitancy. So I wanted to...
You actually asked me what I wanted to talk about, and that's what I submitted. So I'm really happy you kept with my demands. So where do you want to go first? I love talking about Joey B.
I want to get to the meat. I wanted to get to the meat of everything.
Imagine I'm like, bye.
How many reality shows is too many reality shows? Because I feel
never
like
enough.
You got the secret.
Yeah, it's really never enough. I after the Real World, and when we were joking about me going on Say Yes to the Dress, I it was actually just like maybe you should go and say yes to the dress. My mother is the one who filled out all the paperwork.
Behind your back? Did you?
Well, we had
know?
like the jokey conversation, but I was like, this bitch I'm not filling out 15 pages. I'm not doing it. She filled it out and she called me, and you'll love this. She goes, and don't worry, I tried to talk like you. So I said, that's really dope. I'm like, all right, Mom. Well, I have other words in my vocab, but thank you.
Like, I sure do.
That was the one she really thought would hook him in. But anyways, yeah. So it was kind of crazy when we got on that one too. And I got to meet Randy, which, not saying you know who Randy is, but he's like the host of the show. So that was a big moment.
That's the guy who helps out with dresses.
He's like the bridal dress connoisseur. Yeah, he's a dope dude.
And I mean, you picked a dress on the episode, obviously.
No, I absolutely did not. I said no.
So you went to say yes to the dress and then
which is so
said
typical
no.
me. Yeah.
They let you do that?
Well,
Is it wouldn't that make them look bad?
I honestly thought that our episode wouldn't even make TV because I did say no. I really did love, not that you give a fuck about this, but I really did love one of the dresses on there, but not as much as a dress that I had tried on and loved here, so I went with that one. If you were concerned, it's on Instagram.
Would I not care because I didn't get an invite to the wedding, or is that what happened?
Do you give a shit about bridal gowns and I'm unaware?
If you're going to be on TV picking one, then yeah, I would hope that you would go on say yes to the dress, not to say no.
All right. Well, it was a Haley Page gown then, since you're so hip, and I loved it, but it was pink. And it was a little too ballroom-y for me, but it was beautiful, and I loved Randy, and I felt bad saying no to him, but when you know, you know.
I mean, who gives a shit, right? I mean, you were just...
by the way, and I think this is something for people to know, I was paying. You don't get the dress for fucking free.
I was just going to ask that.
So
do you have to pay for it?
If it's my own bread, like, I don't need to say yes if it's coming out of my pocket. You know what I mean?
Wow, that makes complete sense of why you would say no.
I think people thought there was that common misconception, like, oh, if you go and say yes to the dress, you must get a free dress. No. And they make that, I'll give them credit, they make that very clear from the jump. Like, if you come on the show, we'd love to have you, but we're not paying for your dress.
It's one of those things, though, that I feel dresses are really expensive.
I was just about to say, do you know the range of? I actually would rather die than admit how much my wedding gown costs. I would actually, like, it's embarrassing, and I can't admit. I can't even say the words.
Yeah,
but
are you still paying for it? Like,
no.
What's more? What? How much money do you have left as far as student loans versus the wedding dress? Is student loans more? Or is the wedding dress more?
I mean, most of the gowns in there range between like 5 and 10. Like,
jeez.
Yeah.
Oh, woof.
Yeah. I think the dress that I really loved from in there was around $5,000, and that was not even close to how much my actual gown cost.
Tight. I mean, you knew that was going to happen.
Oh, I'm the bougiest. When it comes to the fashion and stuff, not today, but in life, when I'm getting dressed up, it's,
Oh, don't worry. We put a fashionable pic. I suggest more than any episode out of the 19 that you head over to YouTube right now and watch and see what I have as our picture on the board.
It's beautiful. He actually tried to make it seem like I was vag out at the encore. I wasn't. There's a pillow there. But
this
now
is your picture, not mine.
Now your logo is there. We should get this trending. This is a thing right here.
It's it was trending. You put it up. I'm sure it did quite well.
It did too. It paced very well on my Instagram. It did. One of my husband's friends, who's a comedian, did a side-by-side of this. He put on a bathrobe with a pillow to try to see. I think I did a little better.
I think you look great.
Thank you. Thank you.
I do want to get the real world shit out of the way because I mean, listen, it's your fault. You're the one that went on the show, and it's gonna follow you. But I feel like, you know what's so wild? I was just thinking about this today. I feel like you actually probably escaped the cons that I think doing a reality show now, where I think it follows you, but not to the extent where if you get on a reality show now, it fucking follows you.
Oh, you say one thing and you're fucked.
That's what I'm saying.
And you know, I had done a little bit of radio at Northeastern right before I did some color for the men's game, right before I went on Real World. So I already had
color commentary. Some people don't know it. You were a broadcaster.
I was a sports broadcaster. So, I did that right before I went on Real World, so I already liked the taste of radio. And so when I went on Real World, my mind was like, how do I get it, some sort of job or internship, something at a radio station so people could see me on TV working there. Like, my mind was already going, and I did. I got a job right away at the local radio station, and they let me have this little segment where I kind of like learn to be in like the New Orleanian culture. But that's how I got my first radio job, because my boss in St. Louis, my first ever radio job, saw me on the Real World. He was like a Real World fanatic.
Yeah, you know what? It's that would not be my first. It'd be like, I'm trying to get on the Real World so I can have a radio job after.
I know. You would be like, I'm trying to go on the road to bang in the hot tub. No, I realize this, but I was trying to be smart.
Right. Well, I mean, you look at people like Pauly D. I mean, how would you, if you were on like a reality show now, what type of thing or what type of lane of post success, like Pauly D's still DJing?
Pauly D kills, like, I just think he made himself a brand, which was
right.
Sick.
I don't recall New Orleans specifically as far as the Real World, but what were you, I guess what were you known for on that season?
Well, it's funny. You won't be shocked at this. I was like the storyteller of our season. So you would be fighting with a Joe Schmo, and then all of a sudden I would come in and be like, you know what? It really is JD's fault. Like, I've seen what he's been doing around the house, and he has a little bit of an attitude. And I would kind of tell the tale of what was happening. My friends, after the season was over, and they were like, is you good? Like, who was that? Because I was getting fucked up, but I wasn't my usual self, because I really was I wanted to make a career out of it after.
Yeah. Wicked smart.
Smart, yeah.
I feel like people really don't think that way. I think you just go on these shows and you get so obliterated. Do you think people drink more now or the same on reality shows?
The Real World game has changed so much. Real World isn't even on TV anymore. It's on like Facebook now, I think.
It's just a Facebook group?
It's like a Facebook TV show now.
No.
It's sad. No, it's sad. Because the Real World was the first ever reality television show, period. So it's like, it has this, but even after our season, it changed into like they would go in and then their exes would show up, or they'd be able to FaceTime their family. And we are considered part of like the OG season, where it was like you went in there and you were just stuck. Like, it was, no TV, no music, no computer.
It's like Big Brother almost.
Bro, it was. Imagine getting ready and like trying to get hyped to go out in dead silence. This is part of the real. This is how I was on Real World in 2010.
I just graduated college.
Yeah. And American Idol was big at this time.
Who won that season? Do you remember?
I don't, but here's what I remember. Yeah. So we weren't allowed to watch. We weren't allowed to know what was going on, So one night I was walking home, and my buddy Clay, who lives in New Orleans, who I'm still cool with today, Clay was like out on his porch, and he's seen me like walking back, going back to the Real World house. And he was like, yo, he's like, the finale American Idol is on right now. And I was like, shut the fuck up. I was like, Clay. He goes, yo, I don't think your mic will pick up. Like, because we had to wear them 24/7. Right. My house was like 3 blocks up the road. First off, it wasn't a house. It was like a mansion. It was Baron Davis's old crib. It was insane. It was on MTV Cribs. He's like, I don't think your mic will pick up. I'm like, I had the shakes, bro. So I went in there.
Because you cared so much?
Because it just felt dope to just sit on a couch and watch TV. Like, I'm eating snacks, and so I get back, and I like check in. I go in the house. There was 2 phones, like our house phone, and then there was like the bat phone, the bad one. You don't want that one to ring. That one rings, and they're like, can we talk to Ashlee? So how's American Idol? I was like, fuck. They could hear it. They could pick it up on my mic. Not the whole thing. It was 100%. I got fined. How
much?
Probably like $100 or $200. We got fined. Was that a lot
to you at the time?
Oh, I had $0.
Okay.
I had to I had no money. When I went on Real World, I didn't have enough money to like pay for 4 months of rent, 4 months of my car payment. Like, I had no money. I just graduated college. Yeah. So I had to borrow it from my cousin, and my cousin Kathleen, and shout out to Kathleen. So it was a moment 10 whatever years ago when I was able to pay her back, because I had no money. Even after Real World, like, I didn't have money. I was living paycheck to paycheck. So when I was able to have enough money to pay her back, like, I cried handing her the check, because really that opened a lot of doors for me. So that was moment. But yeah, getting fined $100 or $200 for us, that was food money. They don't Real World, that's another reality show. They don't provide anything for you. You don't get free. Everyone's like, oh, you get free. No, you have to pay for everything.
And now that I think about it, the reason why it was so silent in your house, a lot of people don't understand. You can't, like, if you guys are turning up to a certain song, you have to pay the royalties of 100%. It. So they keep it silent, so then they can pick up your conversation. And
exactly.
They can't do that with
it's like even now on Facebook, if you were to play a certain song, you could get the video taken down because licensing and shit. So
what do you think you'd get canceled for right now that you did on the house?
Oh my God. I can't even, everything, breathing. I don't know.
Well, I mean, you guys, you get fucked up, you make out with people, you bang people in the house, whatever. I'm like, do you remember any conversations or anything that you feel would just not fly? Maybe the way people were talking to each other.
Specifically, I remember, and God bless his soul, Knight, who passed away, he would always make jokes about Sahar, who was in our house, and her ethnicity and all of these things. And I think now back on that, and I'm like, bro, he would have been canceled so fast. He also, the love of his life, Jemmy, who's literally one of my best friends, we'd wake up in the morning and he'd come up to her and be like, what up, bitch? What up, ho? And to be honest, there are men in my life that'll say to me, what up, bitch? And it's totally fine. I could give shits. Like, that's the relationship we have. But nowadays, if a stranger sees that on the street, that's cancelization, right? You're done. You can't talk to a woman like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Meanwhile, on my show, everyone calls him like, what up, bitch? Guys, girls, I don't care. But I do think he would have probably got some flack. Again, this was back in 2010, so.
Right, back where, like, I'm trying to remember if I was even texting during that time.
First off, fuck off. But no, like, fun existed then. Fun was dope. I think I had a sidekick, so it's cool.
Oh, no, I totally agree. I think, I feel my generation was the last real... I mean, haunting things come up on my Facebook timeline and shit, but, like, you know, and things that I've said. But that was because, you know, Facebook... during that time, at least, was college shit. We didn't have to worry about moms, dads, politics. It was mainly just like
and
to find people.
I think about, especially my job now, in comparison to then, and it's like, I don't know, we were just young, dumb, free. We said whatever, however we felt, and I think that was the pull of getting us on that show. It was 9 of the craziest personalities. I mean, still to this day, like, we all have these crazy personalities. No, there was no such thing as being shy in that house, so...
I feel. Do you think I feel like it would be because reality shows today only have hot people. I feel like there's no way for an ugly person to be on a reality show.
Is that? I'm trying to think.
Too Hot to Handle. All of these shows are just like
Love Island.
Like, these people are just hot as fuck. I'm like, I'd have no chance.
No, listen. It's funny that you say that because long story short, my brother knew a guy who was casting for Love Island. So we called my brother and they were going back and forth and the guy goes, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. Like, no offense.
No offense, but complete offense.
No offense, but you're old and you have like a sales job. My brother is literally 30 and he's like he acted like he was 65. You have a sales job. Like, nah, they want hot, young, like, bartenders who don't wear shirts all the time. It is true.
No, it's 100. Like, there's no chance. I haven't seen an ugly person reality show in ages.
Yeah. And
everyone's just a hoe on these shows anyway.
Yeah. Well, that's how you get famous now. If I went on another one, I'd have to hoe. Just be my only way.
Right. Speaking of shows, how much longer are we going to have the new part
oh my,
of your morning show?
I wish we could call my boss right now. I mean, I make this joke on my show all the time. I'd be a fucking millionaire if I had $1 for every time. I get asked that probably 15 times a day.
Okay, so this is not an original question.
You should know this. In the radio land, they constitute new as a morning show between like 2 and 4 years.
I know, I understand.
It's frustrating.
That.
It really is. And I don't want to say it. I also I'm like the anti-radio girl. I don't even like saying, I hate saying my own name. I don't like being like, good morning, it's Ashlee in the New Jam Morning Show. I just don't like it.
Why? There's no a huge sense of pride with that?
It is, but I guess I struggle. I don't want people to think that I don't think that I am cool because I'm on the radio, and I think that people think that. And you were the same. Like, we're very similar in that. I think people think like we're on the radio. I don't care about that. Like, I'm doing my dream job. I love my job. I have my dream cast around me. There's exact people I would want, but I don't think like that gives me any like clout because I'm on the.
I think that's the problem in that being outside of radio. I almost want to disagree with that because I think it's so tight. First of all, I got to give a shout out to the people over at Jammin' because they put you like in a position to win, but you had to have such thick skin. Like, I can only imagine because Boston is a market where, number one, they don't like change. Number two, the people that they've been listening to on air, they've been listening to for 40
forever.
years.
Yeah, I mean, Maddie's down the hall from me, so it's like, yeah.
Right. So I think, and hip-hop is nuts as fuck. It's wild. It's the most legit blogs. It's the highest of hood rat activity in the streets.
Oh, don't even get me going on the Amber Rose thing this morning. It's just too much.
That's why I'm happy I'm not in radio, because I don't know what's happening with Amber Rose. But no, I do have to recognize iHeart for at least recognizing your talents to be able to put you in that position. And that's why I think I'm surprised by that, because I would really own it, or at least have that sense of pride. And I feel like you have to walk around with that swagger.
I'm prideful in a sense about the fact that, well, first off, I could go, me and my boss, Dylan, you know, I love to give him shit all the time. I live for it. But really, like, he went to the higher ups and was like, no, this is the one. Like, she's going to be the first girl in Boston to have her own morning show. I trust in her. I believe in her. So much so that he said, he didn't push anybody on me. He was like, you pick the team. Like, pick your team that you want around me. And I really do owe him the world for that, because that's a lot of trust. Like, he's putting his ass on the line now for me. It is kind of crazy that I'm the only girl to have her own morning show in Boston, because there are so many morning shows in Boston. I was
trying to think, Ashley, of women that have had their own morning show out here.
Yeah.
Are you the I've like tried to do some research on that. I couldn't find one.
I'm the first girl. Yeah.
That's wild.
It's wild. And for that, I am very prideful. I don't know. And it's funny. I still to this day, like, my producer Santi will say, like, oh, let's talk about something, whatever I did. And I'll say, oh, well, just the last hour, I feel like we talked about me a lot. And he goes, bitch, this is your show.
Yeah, this is literally.
They want to hear that. And I'm like, I sometimes struggle with that, because I'm not like oh, look at me, I'm so cool person, other than in this photo.
Well, other than the fact that you get to do cool shit like trash rooms at places,
sure.
You know what I mean? Like a fucking rock star. I mean, people are still listening to you to find out what they relate to. So of course they can't relate to you going backstage and interviewing fucking Drake or something like that, but they can, you're still like getting married, you're still finding your wedding dress.
And the life stuff is the most important to people, and they care so much about it. And I think my buddy was actually saying the other day, he works for the Maddie show, and he was off, and he's like, you know, I was off, and kind of like you, he's like, I didn't know what's going on with Amber Rose. I wasn't keeping up. And he's like, and I put on your show, and he's like, and in an hour I was caught up on your life. I knew everything that was happening in the news. I knew what the fucking weather was. And he's like, that's radio to me. And that's how I feel. Like, I feel like the people that listen to the show are literally my actual friends, and we're just shooting the shit. Different than other shows, I have like a fourth mic in the room, and that's literally for callers. I have a caller on almost every break, just because I love shooting the shit with people. I love chatting.
It's a lot of trust. Do you do that live, or is some of that pre-recorded? Because every time I've gotten someone on live, they've said some kind of swear word, and I've had to dump it every time. That's a lot of trust you put in the people of Boston. I don't record. I'm like a huge believer in that. Everything is live, and last week was a first for me. I dumped myself. Oh, you dumped yourself? What word did you say?
I called the two of them motherfuckers. And then I go, oh my God. We dumped it. And I go, I just like literally dumped myself, which is the absolute worst. I don't even know if my boss knows that. Like, but they pissed me off, and I was like, shut up, motherfuckers. Boom. Just said it. It just came out. So I dumped myself. But I'm like, we're hip. I know that I can tell the inflection in someone's voice. It also is tough because I curse all the time, so people get comfy and they're like, "Oh."
It's a Boston thing. I found myself, especially looking back, not to cut you off, I found myself swearing 10 times as much. Yeah. So I feel like that is such a
it is.
That's such a skill.
I remember one time my boss sat me down. I was telling a story about a turkey, because I came out of I live literally in Southie, and I came out and there was a turkey, and I'm telling the story on air, and I'm like, was a whole ass turkey.
A whole ass fucking turkey.
And I kept saying whole ass, and he texts me and he goes, it just doesn't have to be whole ass. Like, it could just be that you saw a turkey. Why do you have to? And it was just a whole ass turkey.
I always feel like this, like swearing, it just colors in the lines. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want a coloring book that doesn't have colors in it. It just it brings, a little sprinkle of Lacunte mo.
I live for it. So I definitely push the boundary with that. So then people are comfy. They're like calling in, saying, and then they'll go, fuck, can I say that? And I'm like, and we've already done. No, actually, you can't, but it's fine.
What was your worst day at Jammin'?
I would say probably one of the worst days was like, it was the height of the pandemic. It felt like I'm not honestly, just even race aside, like everybody in the country just hated each other. And I remember from 6 to 10, it felt like we were drunk, like grabbing at straws just to like laugh. You know, there was that month or two where things were just, it was tough. Like people weren't happy. They hated their own lives. They couldn't go outside. And I remember at one point, I got choked up and I said to Santi, I said, our job is to make people be distracted from their regular day, but we're not happy either. And I felt like that was coming off on air. So we kind of had to really like shut things down and kind of reevaluate and make sure that, not that I wasn't touching what was happening in the world, but that I was also giving people an escape from what was happening in the world, if that makes sense.
You were trying to find that balance and you really couldn't, because it's not how people were thinking.
No.
And like someone like myself, like I'm searching for answers myself. I'm looking at who I am as a person, and I'm looking at like all of the things surrounding, so I can only understand being on the air, and nothing was happening in pop culture. So like everyone was inside. So it was just, oh my God. So it was a giant chat room.
And and in the news, our news segment, we do like a news segment called 3 Things You Need to Know. So it's dope because I add in, you know, I'll put in an Amber Rose or a Drake story, but I'll also put like whatever's big in the news. But that was like, this is 3 things you need to know, and it's really depressing and it's really heavy. And there was another protest, and this happened, and there was this, and Corona is up to 750,000 people per minute are getting it. Like, I felt depressed having to report it, and that I would say there was a day in there that I literally like looked at Santi and I was like, I don't know if I could do. I mean, we might need a week off because I don't know if I can do this anymore.
Right, and I wouldn't fault you if you took the week off. You know what I mean? It was just that was such a wild time period. What's the most wild shit someone has said online to you?
Oh, this is one of my faves. I've had so many. There's two of my personal favorites. I get dick pics a lot.
Really?
But the newest wave of dick pics is to compare the dick to something so I can get a really good look at size. So I recently told a story about how I got a dick pic from a guy and he compared it to a Comcast remote. It was not fluffed.
A side by side?
It was he held it. It was on the toilet. So he held it. And I always say, if you're going to send me a dickie, like, definitely fluff. I don't need it. I just like if it's soft and big, that's cool. But like you can fluff. I'm cool with that.
I don't even know what fluff is.
You get it going a little bit.
Okay, I got you.
Fluff it up. But yeah, he can. So that's a thing. That's been a thing. The comparison of like size wise next to the Comcast remote. Then I have this one guy. I won't even say his handle because he'll know that I read his messages. I have him. He's like in that other box. You know, there's like your main messages and there's that other box. And no matter what I post, he says something mean. So like, I'm not even kidding you. Like 2 years ago, this is when it started. I posted a picture of my grandma because she had just died. And I was like, rest in peace. And he was like, fuck you, you ugly bitch. You look like your man. I was like, what? Oh, my grandma's post? Like, she went to heaven 5 seconds ago. Like, fuck you, you ugly bitch. You look like your man. I was like, Tanana? But yeah, he comes for everything. And he's now become like so psycho addicted to just being mean to me that he does it to my family.
You're not block him, or you like?
It's like some of them I like to read just to like remind myself. Yeah,
sure. And you know he's that much of a psychopath.
Oh yeah, my brother hit me the one day and he goes, yo, who is this? And I'm like, oh, he's a psycho, whatever. He goes, he just sent my brother a random phone number. My brother had put up a bunch of stories. He had been out. He sent him a random phone number. So my brother Googled the phone number. It was the phone number for Alcohol Anonymous. Like he just is going that deep. Like he's going that deep. He's crazy.
Do you say, hey, thanks Comcast cock, I appreciate it?
Yeah, I usually acknowledge. Also, and I'm sure a lot of girls can attest to this, the new wave is feet pictures.
I know that's
yeah.
super.
I get solicited. There's this one guy in the morning. I actually just read this on Monday. He hit me, asked for toe photos. So I always like to entertain so I can talk about it on the show. And I'm like, oh yeah, like what are toe photos going for these days? Like how much money are we talking? He said, well, the only way I'll pay is if you can suck your toe. So now I'm on air trying to see if that's even like feasible. It's not. It wasn't. So I wrote him back and I'm like, listen, I can't suck my toe. And he was like, it's fine. Like annoyed at me. It's like, it's fine. But can you just send me a regular one? I'm like, well, what kind of bread are we talking? So then the phone lines light up and girls are like, Ash, you could get $1,000 for this. I'm like, what?
You never wanted to try it once? Have you ever?
I think about it. Once? Yeah, I haven't sent once. I have not sent a single.
If it's real?
And can I just add in
sure.
This man that's soliciting me? He solicits me in the mornings because it's always right before the show. It's like 4:40 because I get in there probably around 4:30, 4:45. his profile picture on Facebook is him holding his twin fucking daughters. Like, bro, what are you? Go. Let your wife's breastfeeding. And why are you messaging me for like? It's weird. It's kinks. People are into stuff.
Yeah, I don't understand that wave. And I mean, what do you think girls look for in toes?
I don't.
If we're gonna entertain
it,
that.
it's a real thing. And when we talk about, I have zero desire. Nothing about a toe turns me on. But it like men will call in and say like, no, it is. I like to be walked on. Or actually, when we started talking about kinks, DJ Foreign, who's also on my show, admitted his kink is he doesn't like the word kink, so then I love to use it, but he likes to put women on leashes, and they pretend like they're at the dog park and they bark and. Yeah, listen, to each their own. I don't give a shit. But people are into weird stuff.
Yeah, I was going to ask you how much of a role your co-hosts play in your support system, but I feel like that's was a layup right there. I feel like we definitely are, we ride for each other, that's for sure. But that's one thing about me and being on my show, and I made it very clear to them. I was like, listen, you want to come on, I want you, but you have to be an open book. Like, there's no like, I don't really want to talk about that today. And it's tough for like our significant others and stuff. Like, it's not, I mean, the other night my husband was asleep and I was recording him talking in his sleep, like in the middle of the night, because I knew I was going to play it the next day. Santi, same thing. His wife snores like a absolute grown man. And so we record her, he records her in the middle, but it's like, there's no privacy. There's nothing, but that to me is like what makes the show good. Cause we're not embarrassed to talk about anything. And it's mornings. I did mornings for about 1.5 years, 2 years with my best friend La out in Phoenix, and it was such a wild experience as far as the not strain, because that's not the right word, the challenge it put on our relationship. And I feel this was, so you got the green light to have your own show, and then it was kind of an arranged marriage after that.
Yeah.
How has that been good or bad, or like what challenges have you run into?
That's actually a really good question, because I don't think people realize that, because I spend just as much time with my literal significant other as I do with them. You know what I mean? That's like my work wife.
And you didn't get to pick your team, so
I did.
So you got to pick. Okay, I got you.
But Santi and I were very, very close, and he's very open about this on the show. But he goes to therapy now. Like, that's how fucked up we are. So his therapist has really coached him up, because he didn't take criticism well, in a sense of like the next day. I would say to him, you know, hey, like, you cut me off a couple times, and it kind of threw me off. I couldn't get to the out, or I forgot I had to tease this, and this. So like, tomorrow, just be careful. So then tomorrow I'd be like, good morning, everybody. And he'd be like,
right.
And then he was afraid.
Sure.
He was like afraid to speak.
Yeah.
So I had to tell him, like, I'm not coming at you at all. Like, we're all just trying to better the show. Like, because he'll tell me like, oh, you were supposed to do this and do that. I'm like, all right, cool. Next time I do it. But that's also hard. Like, you don't want to, like, my boss called me yesterday and ran through like 5 or 6 things that I'm like kind of slipping on a little bit. And listen, he's my coach, and I don't like hearing it, but that you got to take it. And tomorrow you implement it and whatever. But after he started going to therapy, his therapist really helped him with that. Word. And he's been 1,000 times better. Like, even the other day I said to him, I'm like, oh, hey. And he goes, I know, I caught it. He's like, I won't do it. Like, he catches himself now. So I'm like, shout out to therapy. I'm pro therapy for him. It's changed him in a great way. And
it's helping him not only personally, but professionally.
Yes.
Which is
big
really
time.
dope.
Big
Got
time.
You. And you're just going through those learning curves. Who is a female in the industry that has really empowered you throughout this process? Because when I was doing mornings with La, it was crazy to see not only the things that were said to her, but the opinions that were thrown her way, the people that were outside the studio when we got off. And she said in a recent podcast of hers, Life with La, she was basically saying sometimes in the industry, women are told that other women are coming for their spot. Right. And do you agree with that? 2, but she was saying, but the people that have helped me the most have been women. Yeah. So
I when I first got this job, I was shocked. I got a note from 65% of women in radio in Boston being like, thank you. Like, this is so dope. You opened this door. Like, this wasn't even an option for us before, and this is sick. I would say when it comes to online stuff, I get more hate from females.
Oh, word.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. of girls just being like, no one cares what you have to say, bitch. Like, you know, they're like nasty stuff. And my response is always going to be like, there's other stations, you know, but not that ever works. They still listen and just shit on me. But
have you talked about that on air?
Oh yeah.
Like about how
it's
a lot
crazy.
of your comments are from females?
I always describe it where it's like, it feels like it's like crabs in a bucket. Like they're all just trying to pull each other down. And it's like, guys, we're never going to get out this way. But yeah, when it comes to the industry, and I'm talking specific to Boston, mad people hit me up after and have been really cool. Like I don't have any radio beef with anybody. Everybody was super cool. I love, this is probably a random one, but Heather, who works for iHeart for ZLX, she's on the morning show. She's like a vet. She's been around for forever. I'll shoot the shit with her and I'll kind of, I've had some combos with her. She's really dope. But there's another girl that works for iHeart. Her name's Angie Taylor and she works in Chicago. I've called her for advice and like chatted with her a couple times. She was on mornings with a guy, then just recently got her own morning show in the company. So that was dope.
Word.
Yeah. So her and I will chat and like, you know, it's so different being a two mic. Well, you know, being a two mic and be able to like kind of just like do the fluff and the color around the host is like, you know, there's just not as much pressure there. When I go in and do a show from 6 to 10, if it sucks, I go home and like, I don't sleep at night. I put that on me and I'm like, God, I should have done this or we shouldn't have done that. Or I just didn't feel like we got the interaction we should have today. I think about my radio show far more than I want to admit. Like it'll keep me up at night. You know, that call with my boss yesterday, it was little things like, you know, you got to be tighter coming in and whatever. Nothing crazy, but I thought about that all day. And then this morning when I did the show, I was trying to be tighter and don't even get me going on ratings can literally make you want to drive off the Tobin.
Ratings in radio are such bullshit.
Oh, they're such bullshit.
So like they're not even true. So
it's tough. Yeah. But it's, you know, and especially here in Boston, like we don't have just one really dope morning show. There's a bunch. And
really
these dudes have been around for a minute, you know? Again, Maddie's literally right down the hall from me. So I was very taken back with how cool all the women were when I first got this job and just reaching out. Cause I know it's not like that in every market. So, and that's weird. I'm trying to think, do I feel like anyone's like trying to come for my job?
I think what La was saying was that's what people think is happening, but really it's the exact opposite.
It is.
The people the people in the industry, the women in the industry have been 10 times as empowering.
Oh my God.
And it's usually the dudes that are like, yo, she coming for your spa, blah, blah,
yes,
blah, blah, blah.
I actually have had girls in the company that are doing like afternoons or nights, whatever it is, send me air checks and be like, hey, I listen to the show every once in a while. Would you mind helping me out? Which I'm like, oh, it's like the ultimate compliment. I'd love to. But yeah, the girls are cool for sure. I haven't felt that. I mean, I definitely have come across some guys that I'm like, they'll hit me with you're the host of the morning show. I'm like, yeah, I am. It's me. But radio is such a weird world like that. You know, they're especially, I think within our company, there's these guys that have just been rooted in for so long. So then when the new blood comes in, it's like, oh, look at these young, like little TikTokers trying to come in, you know? And it's like, I don't ever feel like I'm trying to, you know, bump anybody out. But at the end of the day, I want to grow and I want to grow my career too.
Right. No, full facts. Have you had to change anything about yourself since you've been on the morning show? Like, what has changed the most about you since you got the name tattooed on, you know, for the entire morning show?
I want to, like, this sounds like a basic answer, but I think the only reason I got my name on the morning show is because I always kept it true to myself, whether that was an embarrassment. Like, I literally went on today and I was explaining how, like, I don't fuck with the weed. I don't know anything about it.
The weed, right. That's how I explain it.
That's how you know.
The weed, yeah.
I couldn't think of the name. This is me. You know, like the thing, and when you do, it's like, and then Foreign goes, it's a bong.
Like you're bubbling? Like you're stupid as fuck.
I couldn't think of the name of a fucking bong. But by the way, not to say I haven't done, you know, had some party drugs in my time. No, I just don't like the weed. But girls were writing me, like this girl wrote me today. She's like, yo, you really need to come with me to Lynn. Like, I'm going to roll a blunt for you. But I'm honest in a sense. I mean, that's not a great example, but I don't mind embarrassing myself, and I'll always keep it 100 because honestly, that's when I watch videos and I see people do dumb shit and I'm like, oh, I've done, like, you connect with that. And I think that's the most important. I'm not trying to go on there and pretend like I'm somebody that I'm not.
Well, like, have you had to tone yourself down? Have you had to to react differently in certain situations? You know, like does anything come to mind with that? I mean,
I've been told I've been told to tone down.
Oh yeah, okay.
But yeah, it is a loaded question. I'm really trying to think. I don't know. I feel like I'm giving my boss way too many.
Do you think being
compliments.
on TV had it? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, just that he wants me to be me, has always pushed that for me, you know, to just be myself, because that's, in the end of the day, that if someone's going to actually listen to Ashlee and the New Jam and Morning Show, they're listening because of that, not for any other reason.
Do you think TV gave you thicker skin?
Oh yeah, like when I was on Real World, same thing. Like that is one thing about the like fast forward to where the world is now. We are the bottom of the barrel. Like think about a Kim Kardashian, and then I think about like where we are. I don't know how they do it. Like the other day, you probably didn't see this, but Khloe Kardashian posted a photo of herself, and she had her natural hair. She didn't have extensions. I have extensions in down to my asshole. She didn't have any in, okay? And she put, "This is me in my natural hair." And she had to write in the fucking caption, "Please don't ruin this for me. Keep those comments to yourself," because that is how bad it is for her. Think about when she's even seen with Tristan. They're probably like, "You dumb, what are you doing?" You know? So for us, like, we still get it, but on such a low scale. But I'm always so prepared for it now. And I really do try hard to laugh at it. But I admitted this the other day because we were talking about Lizzo. Lizzo was, you know, she was on Instagram talking. She got upset and she was like, you know, I read the comments and people are saying these things. I could read 400 comments about myself. Love the show. The show's great. And then there's one that's like, she thinks she's full of herself. I don't want to hear what she has to say. She's a bitch. And that's all I can think about. And it's like, Ash, there was 400 other good ones, but you always zone in on that one. And you really do have to let it go sometimes. Because I'll say something on air. All of us were so opinionated about things. And you know, somebody will comment or write me a DM and be like, "How dare you?" I think the other day Santi made a comment about Elmer's glue being made out of a horse, that's from a horse or some shit. And I made like a Mr. Ed joke, and then we kind of moved on. I got like 5 or 6 DMs from women being like, "How fucking dare you talk about horses like that? Who the fuck do you think you?" And I was like, I didn't mean to upset the horse community. I made a quick joke and I moved on.
The horse community.
There's a horse community.
There's a community for everything.
Oh, I also made fun of Subarus once. Don't even get me going on the Subaru community. But no, you wouldn't even believe it. But I have to just, like, at the end of the day, I mean, I genuinely say this all the time. I feel bad for comedians nowadays. How do you make jokes?
You just give no fucks.
You can't.
Bill Burr, Andrew Schultz. The fucks are so out there with Chelsea Handler.
It's insane because if you start really thinking like, "Oh, I'm going to hurt this person," you won't be able to speak. You would literally be able to be like, "Hello and goodbye." That's it.
Oh my gosh, the Subaru slander you must have gone through.
How dare you?
What are your vices away from radio? Do you do drugs? What fills your cup of happiness? Because, you know, my podcast last week, I watched this really dope interview on Hot 97 with Tyler, the Creator. I'm not sure if you've seen it.
Yeah.
But he was just talking about how there's not enough people that are geeking about the shit that they like anymore. So, like, what's some weird shit that you like? Like, he loves luggage. He loves dessert, you know, but vintage luggage, you know? Like, it was just some weird shit. He goes, people act like you're not allowed to care about other shit. So what other interests outside of, like, music and all that stuff are you into?
You know this about me. We connect on a very deep level for this. Nothing makes me happier than when a Friday hits and all I can think of is like, yo, I get to go home and take the dogs to the dog park.
Facts.
And that feeling of them getting to the dog park, them pooping, and then they're happy and they get to run around. Like, real dog owners get that. And I've talked about that on my show. Like, when the dogs poop before my show and I leave, I'm like, yo, I am fucking relaxed. I feel so chill.
Yeah.
I love my dogs so much. So my dogs, for sure. I mean, I'm a sneakerhead, you know that. Which is also like a blessing and a curse, because when something drops, then you have to live that life of being in a fucking waiting room and are you going to get it? Oh God!
Or if you wear Yeezy sandals when it's piss raining
please
outside.
Don't even bring it up. There's a fucking tornado out there, and I'm slomping in my fucking Yeezys. So mad. I love my friends, man. I love my friends so much, and I love spending time with them because I really am a hermit during the week. Like, I don't go out on school nights. Like, I don't fuck with that. Monday through Thursday, I'm in bed I'm asleep by like 9:30.
Well, Ashley, you're up at fucking 3 a.m.
I know, but I feel like I miss out on a lot of things. You know, people are like, "Oh, want to grab dinner at like 7 on a Wednesday?" Like, yes, I do, but I can't, but I want to. So I feel like the weekends are my makeup time. You know, I love a good sloppy Lincoln brunch or just those type of things. I just love being out. I'm a big time social butterfly, so I enjoy that. I love traveling. I'm a fucking Disney nerd. Now you got me going. I'm excited.
No. Okay, so you're Disney.
I love
what do you love
Disney.
about Disney?
I love dressing up. I love Halloween. Halloween's my favorite.
You're gonna keep going in the dressing up portion. Why
okay,
do you like
so Halloween is my favorite. So I just feel like when you go to Disney, it's Halloween all year round. Like I can wear my full-on Alice in Wonderland outfit. You get to like be a kid in your 30s, and I just live for that shit. And I feel like no one does it better than Disney. I always say I would go to Disney and just eat right off the fucking ground in Disney. It's that clean. It makes me that happy. I'll eat my fucking Mickey pretzel right off the ground. I love it there so much. I love Disney. I actually, embarrassingly enough, speaking of drops, this brand I love, Stony Clover, a luggage brand. Maybe I need to start watching more with Tyler, the Creator.
Yeah, sure
dropped a Disney Princess limited edition line. Mm-hmm. I had 4 computers up after work, like a fucking loser. I had each one of them, all the guys on my show, at one computer, and I had written directions. Okay, you go into the Sleeping Beauty category. I want this out of that. You go into Little Mermaid. I'm gonna get the duffel bag, and then I got everything I wanted, but I was able to customize, put my name on and everything within a blink. I dropped $1,000 in a blink in less than 10 seconds.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm embarrassed, but I live for that shit. I love it.
Wow, you really are a fucking loser.
No,
That's
I'm
so
a
crazy.
loser. And your producer had on a Mickey shirt. It was like he was waiting for me.
Don't throw him into it.
He had no idea. He didn't care.
What is the best piece of advice that you have received that you still use to this day to drive your success?
This is a huge one, and I always go back to this one. There was one day where, God, I'm saying Dylan Sprague's name so many times. If he listens to this, he's gonna cry. He one day sat me down and he was like, listen, the God's to honest fucking truth is you cannot be funny 365 24/7.
Right.
There are going to be days where you're going to be off. And he's saying that and I'm like, it's true. Like I go in there some days and I'll say in my brain something funny and it just doesn't hit. Like it just doesn't smack like it does on a Wednesday when I said it, whatever. And he was like, that is why the team around you is so important. Like teamwork to me genuinely does make the dream work. And I think who you surround yourself with is so fucking important because it really can push you forward and excel you in life. Like you need someone around you that if you make a joke and it doesn't hit that day, or you do something and it doesn't go the way you want, to be able to pick you up. And that like really resonated with me. And I think especially because I played ball in college, like that team atmosphere is so important to me. And I really noticed it. It's very true. Like there are days where I just don't feel like I have anything, like none of my stories are hitting or they're just not great. And then they pick me up or they pick the show up. And it's just that I just always think about that. Teamwork is vitally important.
I think I love that, and I think and I've learned through podcasting that it's such a we never look at it as like volume, like how many shows we're doing. It's like, do we just try our best? We just fucking put it out in the universe, and then we'll be back tomorrow.
Yeah,
like, hopefully.
But you're like a very funny dude. Like I laugh like when we text.
Yeah.
So you have to have those days where you feel that, where you're like, I don't know, you try, but it's just
some of my GIFs hit, some of my GIFs don't hit.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's nice to know that you have a man in a Disney shirt here to
Hurley doesn't do a fucking thing, Manny.
Okay.
I saw it. He was printing out a picture of you in front of Niagara Falls about 20 minutes ago, so I think he does something.
It was our pal portrait that we're supposed to have. Do you have any questions for Ashlee you want to throw? I mean, I don't want to put you on the spot. I have a million.
Yeah, jeez.
Yeah, no, keep going.
Okay, cool. What is on your For You page on TikTok?
I don't have a TikTok.
You're fucking
I swear to God, I know.
How do you not have a TikTok?
Because I am on social media so fucking much. I feel like if I got the TikTok, then it would consume me.
You can't do the weed and the TikTok.
I put that I still call it the Facebook because that's what it was called when we were younger.
Oh, it's because you go The Real World and
The Real World, yes. No, but Santi will send me videos from the TikTok. I'm like, fuck, man, I'd be on here all day. Like I need to get on.
It's so, with what you do, it's such a free hub of content. And
what is a For You page?
A For You page is basically the
your bio.
Like the government will figure out what videos you like seeing the most.
Like so kind of on Instagram where it like gives you those.
Yeah. So
what's on yours, girls?
Mine is a lot of like cooking shit.
Oh.
there's a lot of like, sometimes I just need a good motivating, like from a higher up business person of just like, sometimes every so often I just need to be reminded of like the struggle and like enjoying the progress of something.
Yeah.
So it's usually one of these rich billionaires telling me to just, stick it out.
Shut the hell up. You got it. Wow. Interesting.
And then I don't know. I usually have a bunch of funny shit on there. Like if I posted like a DJ fail the other day of like someone just blasting air horns. It's like humorous stuff. I mean, I have nothing. Some people's is wild. You know what I mean?
I was thinking you were going to say it was like a bio, on Tinder when someone has their little bio. So that's what I thought you meant. Because that's when I don't know the world.
Yeah, no, I feel like we should do it. If I had a radio show, if the radio station didn't blow up, I would definitely like want to know what someone's For You page is.
I'm going to start using that. I'm like, what's on your For You page? I'm going to look cool.
It's free content, but you don't have a TikTok. So I know.
Well, everyone else in the show does. I'll ask them.
I asked this question on behalf of, I wrote it down here, everyone. Does Pup Dog sleep? So DJ Pup Dog is a DJ out here, and I'm convinced I never know what his shift is. Like he's on at 7 in the morning. He's on at 5 in the morning. He's on at 1 p.m. He's on at 10 p.m.
It's a running joke even around the office that if he does sleep, it's on like a twin bed in his studio. There's really never a time that he's not at the studio.
Has he ever thought of hitting Indeed and asking for like people, hiring people?
He might want to. Yeah, dude, he has his hands in like 700,000 pots. And then I'm sure you see too, like if he does take a second, it's to fly to LA for 5 fucking minutes.
For 5 minutes.
I'm not kidding.
Yeah,
like,
no, I believe it.
For one event and then fly, like that's a 6-hour flight, bro. But yeah, no, his hustle is very serious. And I'm always like, that's cool. I respect the fuck out of that, but that ain't me. Okay? Like that's his thing. He kills that, but don't.
Ashlee in the new Jam and Morning Show and Just Pup.
Just like literally. I can't. He lives there, dude. He brings his dog because if he didn't, he should just start bringing his wife too. Because at this point, he wants to spend time with the dog. The dog's there all the time because he lives there
so much, dude. I just am like so curious. Everyone at iHeart, just in general, is like all of you guys. Everyone is just on all day.
Oh, dude, we're like, we're
it's
machines.
Like ESPN, like I see someone in the morning show and then they're on fucking with Scott Van Pelt at nighttime. All right, before you get out of here, I want to do a game with you.
Wait, I have a question for you, like, because I'm just nosy. What's like the girl? Like, do you have a boo now? What's the tea? I feel like you're one of the most eligible.
Are you talking to me? Yeah. Do I have a boo?
Yeah.
To be honest, I've been so cold with dating and shit. It's just a lot of energy.
Yeah, that's why I feel like you haven't been posting anything about that. So I'm like, oh, maybe he's. So you're single.
Yeah.
You're like a legit eligible bachelor.
You should
Can I have you come on the show and like get you? We're gonna find you a wife.
I know that's like the TJ show at AMP. They used to try that shit all the time, and it was like it was whatever.
They come out of the woodworks. That's for sure. Yeah. We actually had a girl call in yesterday. Her and her man's broke up because he wouldn't pee on her, and she really wanted that. Could you step up to the plate for that?
I feel like I have fresh urine. I drink a lot of water.
Good. Oh, it's good. So it won't be as yellow.
You want to know what it is? Actually, I don't do dating apps, and so I
feel
that's such a hub. And honestly, right now I just don't care. I'm finally starting to live like a normal life. You know, outside.
Can I tell you something else that's like a downer for dating someone like you?
Sure.
You're in the clubs. And
but I'm really not.
But that's like, okay, are you not in the club tomorrow night?
I'm in the club tomorrow night working.
I know, but no, I don't mean in the club like with girls. Yeah. But I'm just saying that's a whole Friday night that you don't have to spend with them. And I think that schedule, like I always say that about Mikey. Like Mikey's got a girl now, God bless K-Taco, but he was just in the club so much, and not like in the club like that, but just the time of it. You guys, your schedule is a little fucked.
Yeah, I mean, my schedule is way more open now, and I think, I don't. There's so many I just don't. It's so much energy, and I think I'm way too blunt and. So
you're not on Tinder, any of it.
I did Hinge for a month.
Okay.
And it was whatever, dude. Because at the end of the day, we've talked about it before. I'm so over the small talk of feeling like texting is such a game sometimes, and it's really annoying as fuck. Like I'm not a good texter in a sense of like where if you're looking at me to say some like sly shit, like what are we doing here? If I'm on a dating app, it is to go out with someone, right? So like of course a couple messages have to make sure you're ensuring you're not a psychopath.
Yeah.
But,
you have to get through that. So like what would I'm turning this interview. I'm interviewing him now.
I'm not scared.
What would if you actually found a girl you wanted to go out on a date with? Where is a typical JD date? Like, where are you taking these? And please don't let it be anything involving Big Night, because they'll think you're getting a discount. Oh, he went here because it's fucking 50% off.
I do have a gift card for winning the merch contest, so it does help me.
Want to come to Scorpion Bar? No. We can grab a bite for 50% off before I teach it.
Actually, I will tell you right now. I think if I get a girl out, that's when I'm my most confident, because I feel like
I'm not saying you're not, but where are we going? Like,
okay, so there's
date.
a spot, and I'll give out the goods here. I would take you to a spot called Drink out here. Have you been to Drink?
You can create your own cocktail, right?
You don't create your own cocktail.
Oh.
You say there's no drink menu. So
that's dope.
You say, what do you like, and blah 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 blah, and it's I like dim lighting, and it's cool, and like
we're having drinks,
and so we're sipping. Some people, I've taken girls out that don't drink, you know what I mean?
Okay.
And so I mean, just a nice, respectable. I'm a foodie, so I'm going to take them to a good food spot.
Okay. I like that. That's
and
good.
Plus, I believe women really do just want to eat.
There's no question. I had to literally say this the other day because Foreign likes to take girls bowling. I'm like, nobody
no.
wants to put on those fucking dingy ass shoes. Like, no one wants to bowl. This is nice.
Yeah.
They also, too, I had a girl that I was like, oh, you guys be perfect, but you're kind of...
Short? Are you really going to call me? I'm 5... I would call myself 5'10", 5'9".
On the roster, you're like 5'8", bro.
I'm pretty sure I'm 5'9". I'm not gonna let you fucking disrespect me on my show. So that's
okay. Fine, we'll give you 5'9".
Yeah,
but
I'm not small.
She would be. You're not tall.
Right. Well, listen, man.
I'm very big. I'm 5'10".
I think people today are picky. Like, it's not just me. Like,
but would you date a girl taller than you? No.
Maybe.
No, you
I'm not
wouldn't.
opposed to it. I mean, I'd have to. I already know that smoke that would come my way.
The jokes I'm doing right now.
I mean, I'm not opposed to it.
But no, you're right. Yeah. People are. I know it because we do a segment Tinder Tuesday. People judge you right off the little thing in the profile. Like it's a weird. I mean, essentially you're shopping for humans. I get it too.
I get it. I understand. It's just a lot of energy, and I just haven't put a lot of effort into that cup.
I did, but I just want you to.
Why?
I don't know. Like I don't think
people give a fuck.
I shouldn't think about it as much as I do, but I just like want you to like have this girl, and then you guys are taking the dog for a walk, and you're cooking up pasta.
You're not the first person to tell me that.
Because you really are a catch.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
That's love.
So it's time to.
I'm not trying hard enough.
You're not.
I'm not.
But sometimes when you do that, then it just like maybe you might find love at Scorpion Bar tomorrow night.
I might, and who knows? I mean, they say you can't ever meet your significant other in the bar because people that go out, heaven forbid, are just such slime bags the entire time.
Yeah.
My schedule has never catered to it, so I don't know. I just been super chill, and plus it's been a global pandemic.
I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, because you've had to work. I've been able.
I haven't missed a damn day.
Governor Baker, you know what I'm saying, out in these streets providing for your boy. Okay,
I've had some beef with Chuck.
with is that what you call Charlie Baker?
Yeah.
You call him Chuck?
Yeah.
Damn, y'all close like that?
When he was doing mask mandates, I was like, Chuck, chill.
Oh, okay, I got you.
That was when I was mad at him. When I'm not, he can be Charlie.
Okay, for sure. Yeah. All right, let's do a game before you get out of here. I want to call it 2 Feldman fucks or no Feldman fucks.
Okay.
AKA, do you care or not care about these topics, okay? So we'll just kind of brush through them. The Free Britney movement.
I do care about it. The fact that she's being forced to take fucking birth control when she doesn't want to would almost be like someone forcing you to take a vaccine when you don't want to. That would be weird. Oh, wait.
Moving on. Thermostat control in your household. Do you give 2 Feldman fucks or no?
Here's how much I care about that. When my now husband, when we were just dating and he had asked me to move in after like 2 or 3 years, he did not have central air. I said to him, I will not move into that house until you buy central air. And if you know about that, that costs a pretty penny. When I moved in, there was central air.
Facts.
My room is set to 62 degrees right now.
Wow,
it's
freezing.
Frigid in there. I don't sleep in the heat. It has to be like you have to be painfully cold, and you get under all the covers. It's so great.
Your bill must be wild.
It's not low.
How much
62.
is your $62?
Yeah, I don't pay it.
That's not a lot of money for an electric bill.
No. I have it set on 62.
Oh, okay.
So think about that. But I don't pay that bill. I pay the Comcast bill, which is like fucking $200.
Yeah.
Go on.
Well, it's probably around the same amount. Dogs.
Stop. They're like the love of my life. But I don't know necessarily if I'm a dog person. Like I like my dogs, but then when I go out of the dog park and I see other dogs misbehaving, I don't like that.
Okay. Dating apps.
Never been on one. But I'm not, I like when other people are, but to be honest, I think I would be where you were at. I don't know if I could do it.
Got you.
Yeah, I think I'm more so like you. I don't know if I would want to do it.
This is a little controversial. The Boston music scene or Boston hip hop scene? Do you give two fucks about it, or zero? Because I mean,
both of them have shit on me. But I don't know. We have some really dope like talent out of Boston. Bia. We play her a lot.
Ah, right.
Yeah.
Bia's from here.
Yeah, we play her a lot now. And that's another thing, like we get a lot of shit like, we don't want to hear this same song over and over in the morning. That's like the go-to line when people shit on me. But number one, I'm not in charge of the music. But number two, what people have to understand about radio is a new person gets in the car every 15 minutes. And unfortunately for us, they want to hear Peaches. They do.
They do want to hear Bieber.
I don't anymore, but they do.
You want to know what's so wild? The argument that I had with someone, I was like, if you think your record is bigger than Katy Perry, you let me know. Just let me know.
But like for real though.
If you want to sell out the Garden, you let me know if you're just going to sell out the Garden. We'll play your song next.
Yeah. A common thing we get is like, and people, they wanted to hear more Pop Smoke, so we started playing a ton of Pop Smoke, but then it turned into, well, we don't like the songs you're picking. It's like, we just can't win. We can't, there's no winning that battle. Joyner Lucas is a big time friend of the show too.
Right.
So we got, and I will say one thing, the talent here in Boston, like they're all super personable and really dope and accessible, so.
Yeah, I do feel like the scene is pretty good. All right, final one here, having kids, because I feel you've been very vocal about wanting athletic babies since you play basketball at Northeastern.
I didn't play any defense, but I did play basketball.
And you did well here. I mean, I believe the stat is, where are you in the history of points there?
I want to say I'm 11 or 12.
Okay, word. So, I mean, you want like you and, I mean, you just got married.
I know. Up? This is a common question. My mom was asking this actually even before we said it was like, I do. Oh, are you pregnant yet? No, but we definitely do, for sure.
Okay,
for sure.
Many
and
you
I'm
want?
2 tops. He would like 7. Like a whole starting 5 with some stuff. Oh, he would have 1 million. I'm 2 tops. Like 2 is good for me. I think honestly, because that's what I grew up with. Like I have a brother, he's one of my best friends. So that's why that number is special to me.
I'm very thrilled that you took the time to come here. And on your charcuterie board, you have the VIP line pass for the Real World.
Look at this is vintage, bro.
Yeah, and this is ripped as fuck, so you really care about this.
No, this is all the way from 2009. So long story short about this is, when I had first applied for, I'm going to throw this back. When I first applied for Real World, Day 26 had just dropped a brand new video.
I love Day 26.
No, I still listen to Day 26.
I would
like,
too.
That's not even a joke.
Sleeper.
Shout out to Q.
Yes.
Fucking love them. They had just dropped a brand new video. So I went on MTV.com to watch, and it was like, oh, sign up for the Real World. Sent in a picture of me playing ball at Northeastern and a picture of me dressed up. And they wrote back right away and they were like, hey, we want you to come, but we're sending you a VIP pass to cut the line. So I was like, tight. So it was actually Faneuil Hall. So I cut the line. Fast forward, I walk into the Real World's house and I meet all my roommates and we're kind of all telling our story about how we got on and what happened throughout the whole process. And one of the guys was like, oh, well, I got that VIP pass, so I was able to cut the line. And then literally all of us were like, yo, we got the VIP pass too. Not only did we all get it, we all still had it. This is the same VIP pass that I literally got on the Real World with, and I still carry it to this day. I actually put it in with my passport so I don't ever lose it. But this is the literal one from my mother's printer in 2009.
What's the most luck you've ever gotten from that? Because it's got to be lucky. So,
I mean, bro, this got me my career, wouldn't we say?
I guess.
When I was on Real World, my first radio job, he saw me, and then that's how I got into radio, and now here I am.
And now here you are.
Yeah, here I am on the biggest podcast I've ever been on.
By far.
Yeah.
I mean, right.
Speaking of, to go back to you, one of your really good friends is that hot girl that I'm like obsessed with on Chicks in the Office, right?
Fran.
I fucking love her, dude. Like, let's go with this. This would be perfect.
Fran loves the Jonas Brothers. And so when we did our events out in New York, she just loved
Next time she comes here, can you invite me to dinner?
She never came here. We were in New York.
Okay.
And I was DJing.
If she ever does, I would I love her personality. So I would love to like break bread with her.
That show is really dope.
Massive.
Her and Rhea are like, that's
They're
such
great.
a relatable.
Yeah. Rhea looks like I don't know them personally, but she looks like she's the bad girl. And then there's Rhea. That's like,
she sure does.
Yeah. And she's single now too, just saying.
I mean, holler.
Yeah.
I mean,
we're available. Not on Friday nights though. We're at the Scorpion Bar.
We are at the
Yeah.
Scorpion Bar. She's add herself as a talent on there.
Yes,
Go ahead.
yes.
Anything else that you want to add here?
No, thank you for inviting me, and I'm so happy that I was your first girl. I hope I did you justice.
19 episodes. I've had dating coaches on here. I've
Oh,
had football
my
players.
God.
I've had, Mike, like I said, is one of the girls. Hurley, I feel like I did it
Well,
right.
I hope I held up the standards for the first girl. I don't
we
know.
have no standards on this.
Okay. Oh, but hey, fuck yeah. So I killed it.
Yeah.
That's great.
So go ahead, shout out your socials and obviously the radio show and everything like that. Go ahead.
Yeah, the show itself is 6 to 10 a.m. on JAMA 94.5. So, if you're up early, or you could listen on the app, or actually at this point, the biggest way people listen, which is wild to me, is on the smart speaker. Because you can literally ask Alexa to play JAMA 94.5 on iHeartRadio, and she'll just do it, which is weird. But a lot of people listen that way now.
You ever thought about like being able to have a cool little like side thing to be like, yo, Alexa, play that bitch, and then like
How
you come
dope
on?
would that be?
I feel like
how
that'd
fucking
be
dope would
a
that
pretty
be?
good
Yeah,
side
we need to
hustle.
get that going.
Yeah.
But on Insta, where you can see more photos like this.
Yeah.
I'm at Ashlee Feldman, 2 E's on the Ashlee.
Awesome. There it is. Episode 19 of the It's Always Something podcast. First lady in these streets,
Hey.
man. So all the people that are calling me
Lady-ish.
sexist in my DMs,
How dare they?
telling me I don't care about women, you're a liar.
Not true.
Episode 19. Appreciate y'all listening.